Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I've been a little ripping and running the last couple of days and kind of lost my schedule. Making sure this thing doing what it's supposed to do. Gonna crank up this incline a little more. Do what I could do. And y'all gotta forgive me for doing these treadmill videos. It's just the way time works and the way my sleep schedule works. I kind of gotta do two things at once. But I want to share something with you. Something that's gonna set you free. And it's something I noticed that's plaguing my community. Meaning people in general. And that is bitterness. It's bitterness, it's hate, it's jealousy. And I noticed something, and I had to realize a long time ago I had to realize that when I was on Twitter and I was building my brand, and I would be posting messages, and I would see quote unquote gurus, you know. They weren't self-proclaimed. They just were put in a position that people listened to them and took what they said as gospel. And one of them was Russell Simmons. And another one was Deepak Chopra on Twitter. And then kinda was Rev Run. And I seen their positioning, their platform, and I get jealous about that. Man, in my head I'm thinking, man, he ain't saying nothing. Man, how he a guru? How he, why people listening to him? Ain't like he deep, ain't like he saying something. I don't even know if that makes sense. Well, Deepak Chopra. I don't even know if that makes sense, I'm thinking in my head. So I remember tweeting rebuttal to Russell Simmons and tweeting a rebuttal to Deepak Chopra and tweeting a rebuttal to Rev Run. And those was the only three that I can remember doing. I think the Deepak Chopra page might have blocked me. And then I felt like the Russell Simmons and the Rev Run page just started subtweeting me, subliminally tweeting me. And at this time, it's 2010, 2011, so my page was in the score. It was a site that would score your page. My page score was a 93. The only other people with a 93 was Chris Brown and Justin Bieber. And they measured it based off of your interaction. It was a site called Clout or something like that. And my page was going viral. But then I saw these guys, they was celebrities. They celebrities. But they weren't saying anything more profound or more deep, but they were in position. It was their time. People knew them. They had achieved greatness in their industry. Now that later changed for Russell Simmons when them accusations and stuff came out. Rev Run kept his name clean. Deepak Chopra kept his name clean. Now Deepak, he's not a Christian, so that was a little different. So naturally we're gonna see stuff differently. And here I am. Now see, normally I do these videos, I'm on 3 incline. I'm on 5 incline now. Feeling that thing. And I was up late last night. Me and my wife were talking because just got back in town, so I was up till probably 2:30 in the morning. She went to sleep. around 1-ish, I stay up and I be listening to stuff and studying and writing visions. And then I went to sleep. So I'm kind of a little tired, but sometimes it's how life happens. But back to what I was saying. And I felt this here. I realized, I was like, you know what? When I really analyze my spirit, I say I am refuting what they're saying, not because it don't make sense, not because I can't see where they're coming from, I can't understand where they're coming from, but really because I'm jealous of their position. Now, I was broke. I was making $9.50 an hour. I was 25, 26 years old, maybe 27. So I'm looking at these guys. They had made millions of dollars, millionaires, and I was jealous because here I am, a husband and a father. I want to take care of my family, and they was in my space. You know, they was in my lane, but they doing it on a much higher level. And so you know what? I had to confront that jealousy. And see, this take a lot to admit this and even speak real names to paint a real picture. It take a whole lot, but I want you to get this. I want you to get this because it's going to set you free. It's going to set you free. And this is what I see. Because I see, so I confronted that. And I said, Tony, don't worry about what nobody else doing. Stop hating. Stop being jealous. Do what you called to do. And what's for you gonna be yours. You do what you called to do. So I started working. Just focusing on me. Tunnel vision. Eyes on the high calling. Not looking left. Not looking right. Just focus. And you know what? From that point on, I never refuted anything anybody has said online on nobody's page. I never have seen a tweet, disagreed with it, and responded back to them. I never have seen a post, disagreed with it, and wrote in their comments on Instagram or wrote in their comments on YouTube. And you know why? Because I said to myself, everybody has a story. Everybody has a perspective. So instead of me looking for what's wrong with their perspective, let me respect their perspective and try to understand where he or she is speaking from. And then if I disagree, if my perspective is different, let me go on my platform and share my perspective instead of arguing a moot point with them on their platform, on their perspective. Because everything that is said from a lifetime of experiences. Everything that is said with a billion synapses firing in the brain. Everything that is said will never be fully articulated. There will always be a hole left in what's said. Because if it can be completely articulated, then we won't have enough time to receive and consume everything that's being articulated. So I do hour-long videos and still leave holes in what I'm saying. So in an hour-long video, people still can find something to disagree with. But see, here's the thing. I'm gonna leave holes in this message too. But it's the way the brain works. Because it's in the brain and it has to be put into words and it has to come out your mouth. Articulation. That's not easy. Especially ain't easy when you're walking and can barely breathe because you're out of shape. Now, understand this. As I am formulating a message, I'm going to have a thought, and then I'm going to have another thought, and I'm going to lose a thought. You ever tried to write a book? Well, if you've tried to write a book, or if you've written a book, then you know what I mean. How not everything you think ends up on the paper. Because when you write in one sentence, and you thinking of another sentence, you forget the next sentence while you focusing on this sentence. So by the time you're done with this sentence, your brain has served you up another sentence. And now you missed 2 or 3 sentences that your brain, your subconscious, was trying to feed you. And so that's how we get writer's block. That's how you lose your flow. So what we have taken pride in as humans in this climate is hearing to critique, hearing to criticize, hearing to poke holes, hearing to judge, hearing to condemn. We are not seeking, as Stephen R. Covey said, I think it was him, we are not seeking to understand, then be understood. We're not taking into account the sentence or the thought that was omitted by accident. We're not doing that. But instead, we're seeking to judge. We're looking to argue. We're looking to disagree. We're not looking to understand. Seek to understand, then be understood. So if I sit down and I'm having a conversation with somebody, let's say I'm being interviewed, and I'm asked a question, and I answer that question, if the interviewer ad-libs, my next thought that was about to come out of my mouth is then diverted because the interviewer ad-libbed and said something else. So now my brain goes on a different track. So now somebody can take what I said that was an incomplete thought and formulate a complete argument and disagreement against it, not taking into consideration that I was diverted from my train of thought because of the interaction, the natural interaction in a conversation between an interviewer and an interviewee. So you see what I'm saying? Then when we find ourselves in a place where we feel the need to attack, to degrade, think about the space. Think about the comment sections on every social media network. It is the most toxic place in the world. The most toxic place in the world that you're going to see. Somebody could be posted going through something at the lowest moment in their life, and people will make fun of them. People will step on them. People will talk bad about them. People will degrade them. People will turn the knife and do it with joy. We relish in the failure of others. We will buy a ticket to watch someone set themselves on fire and burn to death. The greatest show in the land is when somebody reaches the mountaintop and somebody else pushes them off. That's the best-selling ticket. Or they decide to jump off to their demise. Those are the two best-selling shows in the world. And I'm going to tell you something. When you stop taking pleasure in somebody else's misery, you're going to be set free. When you stop enjoying the downfall of another human, you're going to be set free. When you stop operating from a place of jealousy, from a place of pain, from a place of anger, from a place of hurt, from a place of bitterness, brokenness, you will be set free. See, I get to study human behavior because of what I do. And a lot of times I may post a video on one of the networks, and if I get the time, when I get the time, I can read the comments. And each comment, I can see where a person is speaking from. You have some people who are speaking from a place of emotional intelligence, meaning he or she is a human who I know we don't think the same in its entirety. But they take and they put the shoe on the other foot and they walk a mile in their mind before they comment. And they look at the whole picture and they say, okay, this man is a husband who is not in the gossip blogs for being in an affair with his wife. He's a father. He's a man of faith. And this is what he has built, and this is what he represents. So this message is coming from that place. So if this message is coming from a place of stability, if there's a hole in it, if there's something he has missed, something he left out, I can see where he's coming from. So instead of them digging as deep as they can to argue a moot point or debate, they may put just the praying hands. They may put a smiley face. They may say, amen. I know we don't see eye to eye 100%. But they say, why divert attention away from the message, knowing that I understand the meaning and the intention of the message? Then I will see people who they have a voice and they have an opinion, but they are afraid to launch into the deep. So the comment section of other people becomes their soapbox. So essentially, they stand on the shoulders of someone else who has overcome fear, who is overcoming fear, who is overcoming doubt, who is overcoming criticism and ridicule. And they come and they say, hey, you have worked, you have toiled, you have sacrificed, you have dedicated and committed yourself. You have built me a following to come into your comment section and to stand on my soapbox. And they will write a dissertation that is ever so eloquent. You will think the late, great Martin Luther King was their ghostwriter. And I look and I say, if you feel so strongly, if you have that much conviction, why don't you join the forces? Why don't you become a frontliner? Because essentially, you are frontlining when you're in the comments with your picture and your name. So you might as well start your Instagram page, your Facebook business page, your YouTube page, your online course, write your book. You might as well. So I see that person. Then I see the person who is hurt. They've been hurt. They've been lied to. They've been mistreated. They've been taken advantage of. And they will find a message online that does not apply to their situation in its entirety, but it may be 50% of their situation. And they will argue against the message because their life story says something different to them, but they're applying it to this message that does not apply to them. So they're trying to make a square fit in a round hole, not realizing that the message was for her or for him and not them. So they have a problem with it because they make everything about them. Instead of saying, hey, this is a message right here, but it don't apply fully to me. So I'm going to sit this one out. They go in and they got to make it apply to them when it doesn't apply to them. So I see that. But see, what that is frustration. It's pain. It's a human who does not have closure in their life. Now see, listen, the person who understood the assignment, it does not mean that they are completely whole. It does not mean that they are completely healed. But what it means is they are operating with a sense of emotional intelligence. So instead of diverting attention from the message onto them, they just push the train along. They give it a little boost and say, okay, I get where you're going. Keep going. It's going to be for somebody, even if it ain't for me. Emotional intelligence. Because we feel something. Do you know the popular blog page on Instagram? Whatever one you know of, I'm talking about all of them. Do you know I have never left a comment on any of those pages? I have never left a comment in favor of, in opposition of, in ridicule, in critique, or in compliment, because it's not my space and it's not for me. And I also don't want to clout chase in the comments. And do you know that on one of the most popular blog pages, I would always see a gentleman who speaks on relationships non-stop. Whenever I would go to that page, I would always see him in the comments. And it would be a cute, clever, comment. And on a page that has millions of followers, if you in the comments first and you write the words that other people will think when they come to the comments, for those who don't care to show their face or to leave a trail online of what they comment on, they will hit like on your comment. So now, if the page has 10 million followers and you are in the comments being cute or being clever and you receive 10,000 likes, guess what? That is going to get at least 5,000 people to click on your page and to see your message. And now if you're talking of some substance, it's going to keep another percentage of those 5,000 people. And if you do this every day, your following will grow. But what I said to myself is, I don't want to build my brand on the back of somebody else, on the back of the work of this gossip blog. I don't want to build my brand chasing clout in the comments. I don't want to do that. I want my work to speak for itself. And I want my audience to be organic. So if it takes me longer to build, I'm okay with that. Because I know my foundation is set. My foundation is secure. I don't want to stand on the shoulders of giants. I would rather be built by God. Not to be man-made, not to be manufactured, but to be organically grown. No growth hormone. And so I would see that. And I said to myself, this young man is attention seeking. And guess what? When you seek attention, you're going to get it. But not all attention comes with good intentions. So therefore, not all attention is good attention. So, some years later, this young man was exposed as a fraud. So it led me to believe, and it helped me understand as I'm studying human behavior. And I said to myself, what does a person have to go through? What does a person have to go through? What does a person have to suffer through to want attention so bad that when he or she is living a fraudulent lifestyle, they still want to be in the spotlight? See, all I can do is pray for those individuals. Because as I think about it, I'm like, if I'm cheating on my wife, I don't want to be known. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be heard. So something has to be going on in the spiritual realm to be doing wrong and to be loud. If I'm in the wrong, I'm finna be quiet. See, I've been in the wrong in my marriage. And when I was in the wrong, I was quiet. See, I was 23. I had just turned 23 when I got married. And for the next 2 to 3 years, we were in a tug of war, a power struggle. We both did things we should not have did. We said things we should not have said. But guess what? I didn't have a brand. I wasn't a made man. I wasn't a God-made man. Nobody was listening to me. I didn't have 1 million people online. I didn't have 100,000. I didn't have 50,000. I didn't have 10,000. So guess what? What happened was I was able with my wife to focus on the work, to work on our relationship, to strengthen our bond, to build our relationship, to work through the kinks. I was able to do the work. And so being able to do the work, it allowed me to renew my mind, renew my heart, renew my spirit. And then God could raise me up. God could build me because I got the lesson from my mistakes. So my mistakes, my bad choices, a bad choice is a mistake. A lot of times people say, oh, that ain't a mistake. That's a choice. A mistake is a choice. Understand that. But see, that's the spirit of beg to differ. That we will argue semantics and create a whole rift over something that means the same thing. And so here we go. So when I started to do the work, and it took me some time, but because I didn't want to manufacture growth hormone my success, my growth, by being a comment warrior, because I didn't want to live in the comments of other people's hard work, I was able to work on myself and to grow in the dark. I could grow in the dark. The negatives became positives in the dark. I was developed in the dark, without a platform, without millions of people who knew my name or could hear my message. I was being developed. I was being strengthened. I was learning lessons, and my mistakes were graced. Your mistakes could be graced. It don't mean they're not going to come out. But even if your mistakes come out, people will see that you're so far removed. So see, when somebody get exposed, if it was something that 60, 70, 80, 90% of humans do, we will all understand it. Especially if they were a teenager or a young adult. If it was 7 years ago, 5 years ago, as humans, we look to forgive. We have seen celebrities do some horrific things, and they still went on to tour again, to make millions again, to have endorsements again, because as humans, we all know that we all human. But see, it's something different if we are fraudulent, if we are intentionally deceiving people and portraying one thing on the mountaintop while living something else. When that happens, people want to see you stoned to death. People want to see you burned at the stake because you deliberately deceived. So see, in studying human behavior, I say, okay, this is something. It's just like the fraudsters. I heard of a guy who does fraud. He's doing fraud, but in the midst of doing fraud, he's posting himself on a private jet. He's posting himself with all of the designer, all of the luxury cars, but he's doing fraud. He's portraying himself as a business tycoon, a mogul, but he's doing fraud. And so I said to myself, something else has to be wrong in the mental, in the spiritual, if someone is doing something that's going to land them in prison and they seek attention while doing something. See, when you want the limelight, what you have to understand is that the limelight will shine on your flaws too. See, You can't stand in the light and expect just beauty to be shown. When a light is put on you, every blemish will be shown. So you have to make sure that you have worked on yourself to correct everything that you want to correct. Because if you got on a mask, the little space between the mask and your skin is going to be seen in the light. See, but when you work on your face so you can remove the mask, and then you get a face, you get a heart, you get a life that you're comfortable with, then you could go into the light. Then when you go into the light, now, especially when you're in the light, talking about what you do. So see, with me, I don't give financial advice. I'm not a finance consultant because I'm not good with finances. I don't give fitness. I'm not a trainer online, a fitness trainer, because I'm not good with fitness. I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist because I'm not good with nutrition. You know what I'm good with? I'm good with a relationship. I'm good with self-worth. I'm good with standards. So that's what I speak on. But I'm not going to give you financial advice because I'm going to have to deal with the IRS. Sir, yeah, we need to see something. Let's see if you did this here right. Oh, my bad. Did that wrong. What I owe you? $1,000? Okay, here you go. My bad. Now, I'm not finna run from it and go to prison over it and then be out here giving financial advice while I'm on my way to prison for bank fraud. And that's what we have today. We have people who are sinning in the light and expecting it to be kept in the dark. What's done in the dark gonna come to the light. So who you truly are, not who you was. See, who you were, we all understand that we all have come from something. But see, when God is in the details, when God in the details, it's different than when the devil in the details. When God in the details, God gonna give you enough time to be removed from your willing sin, meaning your deliberate sin. We all sin, we all gonna fall short, but it's a difference between falling short and diving short. There's a difference between falling short and lying short. It's a difference. So see, if I take and I lust upon a woman while she walking, that's sin. That's sin. But see, if I don't correct myself, if I'm willingly doing that, I'm lusting. Guess what? I'm going to be exposed because while I'm looking at this set of hams switching in them jeans or that dress, somebody going to be looking right at me who knew exactly who I am. And they're going to say, ooh, you see Tony Gaston who talk about he's faithful to his wife? I watch him watch a woman walk a mile, lusting and licking his lips because that's willing sin. You see what I'm saying? But if I correct turn my head, I'm not lusting. I see her because I'm not blind, but I'm not looking upon her to lust. So now that was a human thing that I saw another human. But see, it's a choice if I go to lusting. So if I correct myself, God will grace me because my heart is in right standing, because my heart is righteous and pure. But if I'm willingly doing wrong, I'm going to be exposed. I'm going to be exposed. And if something from my past surfaces, it's going to be so far removed that if I can sit down and tell where my head was, what I was going through, why I did what I did, why I made the choices I made, guess what? Humans will understand, because every human will be asked the question in their mind, that Jesus asked when they wanted to stone the sinful woman. He said, hey, he who is without sin, cast the first stone. See, we love stoning others to death, but we overlook the fact that we deserve the same fate. Where grace is given, grace is received. That's what you got to get to, because you got to be set free. So see, that's why I don't speak names. That's why I don't speak names. And if you in the comments speaking a name, then you in the wrong. Because guess what? Any scenario that I give, it does not apply to one person. Because it's going to be a multitude of sin in our land. So it's going to apply to at least 2 people. That's why I don't speak names, because it's not about the person, it's about the lesson from their lifestyle. That's what we have to get. That's why I don't speak names when I'm talking about something bad that a person did. Now, when I said Rev Run and Russell Simmons, I wasn't degrading them. I'm exposing myself of me being 26 years old and jealous of their position. But then, guess what? From that point, whatever happened with their life, everybody could see that. And I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say, that's what you get. That's what you get. I'm not going to do that. Because guess what? I done did stuff in my life that if I am held on a judgment seat in front of the world, I deserve to be stoned too. But see, what I had to do is to repent. And that's where grace comes in. Because we all have the opportunity to repent and grow. See, the problem and the reason why people get exposed, that's why I tell people in relationships, if you catch your partner cheating, odds are that ain't the first time. You get caught when you get complacent. You get caught when you get comfortable. See, the first time you do something wrong, you don't get caught because you're very careful. It's the second time, the third time, when you think you know what you're doing, and you slip up and you leave a clue, and you get exposed. That's on average. Some people who are called by God, and God is not going to let them get too far from Him. He going to let them get caught on the first time, because He don't want them to be too far away. They belong to Him. Many are called, few are chosen. Everybody won't enter. So see, you got to understand this. So what I'm asking you is to evaluate your heart. And everybody, I need to try to figure out how to make this my feature video on my page instead of my biofilm. Because this right here gonna set the captives free. This gonna set the captives free. And I have to get to the place to where I have to say, listen, I gotta operate from love. Now, if somebody asks me about somebody in an interview, I'll speak on the situation, but I'm gonna speak on it from a place of realness and from a place of correction, from a place of love. And I'm gonna let it be known that I don't wanna see anybody belittled, beat down on, hurt, because while we trying to stone somebody, they could be ready to take their own life. And if you don't have mercy, then mercy won't be granted unto you when it's your turn. You see what I'm saying? Because all of us have to sit at the seat of judgment, stand at the throne of God, and be judged for what we have done in the dark, and also for what we have done in the light. Some people that bold. to sin in the light. Something going wrong. It's something that is unhealed. It's some work that has not been done. And see, that's the place we got to get to. So listen, the reason why I come for you, the reason why I snatch wigs in love, not literally. The reason why I catch the back of that hook of my brothers in love, not literally. Somebody argue that how you snatch a wig in love. That's a violent act. The snatch a wig. Did you even picture what you said? People don't seek to understand. They seek to critique. But see, the reason why I come for you is because I love you. The reason why I come for you is because of the changes that I have made in my own life, and I saw the fruit of the root. I saw the root yield fruit. And guess what? I say I want everybody to eat from this tree of life, because I was trapped in a place of jealousy. Do you know some people will leave a comment of division, of distraction, of confusion on somebody else's page solely because they are jealous of that person's platform. They are jealous of that person's calling. It has nothing to do with the message and everything to do with the heart's position of the commenter. And I get to see that too. Not just on my page, but I study this across the web. I study human behavior so that I could better understand people, so that I could better help those who want help. Because if I could see your blind spot and you could see my blind spot, because see, look, there are some people who they won't comment on the page. They'll write in through the email. And even though it's private, I still could tell when it's from love and when it's from jealousy, because the tone is different. Love don't sound like jealousy. The tone is different. The same exact thing can be said, but the tone will be different when it's coming from love and when it's coming from jealousy. When it's coming from love and when it's coming from hate. So listen to me. This is the work, the inner work that has to be done. This is the inner work that has to be done. This is the work. And you got to be willing to do it. And I still reminded of the lady who commented. She say, I honestly can say that now when Tony speaks about his wife, instead of getting sad, I get happy. I get glad. I can smile and know that a love like that is possible. And I say that right there is growth. And for her to say that, for her to admit that, it let me know it got to be real. It got to be real for her to say that. And if it was not real, when she said it, she spoke it into existence so that now it can become real. So see, when I did that, I realized something about life. Nothing is ever what it appears. Because I saw in my formative years, which we always being formed, in the years of development, which we always being developed, I saw that my life appeared in a way that it was not in reality. When I was making $9.50 an hour, I remember receiving a comment. What are you writing a quote about a struggle for, and you know you're a millionaire. The commenter did not know that when I went on Oprah to tell my story, Oprah did not mention my book. That I made $0 from exposing myself of being a toxic, controlling, abusive boyfriend in college. I exposed myself so the devil couldn't write a narrative. And I told my story worse than it happened. I took the mic from the devil and I exaggerated my own story. And I did not tell what the young lady had done. I did not tell about her spiritual attacks on me. I didn't expose her, I exposed me. I took full responsibility. I didn't blame her for the man that I was. And I put a little extra sauce on it. Lord, forgive me. But I put some extra sauce on it. Because sometimes when the devil opens his mouth, he want to lie. He want to add something to it. I say, I'm finna put more sauce on it than you could think of. Here. Because the work of the Lord got to get done. So I got to expose myself. And so here this person was, thought I was a millionaire. People thought I was a millionaire on social media. Long before I even dreamt of making $1 million. And I was like, wow. Perception is your reality, not mine. Your perception is your reality, not mine. My perception is my reality. There's a quote by Anais Nin, and I think it was used by Stephen R. Covey or somebody like that. And it says, we don't see the world for what it is. We see the world for what we are. What you see of me is a reflection of you. It's a reflection of where your spirit is. Because if you see me as a fraud, and I'm not a fraud, then that means your lenses are foggy. And they foggy because of your pain. So you can't give me a fair shake because you've already made a decision that a black man speaking on relationships is a fraud. Because you saw another black man and another black man and another black man speak on relationships, and it come out that they frauds. That in the midst, at the highest height of their career, they were living a different lifestyle. So now you may say everybody is a fraud. That's your perception and it's your reality. But it's not my reality. Because with my reality, you know what I do? I teach from it. So I tell people, me and my wife have gone through everything that every other relationship has gone through, not in the specifics, but in the sense of lacking trust, in the sense of lies, in the sense of mistreatment. We've gone through those things, but what we did is we locked our doors and we cleaned our house. We mowed our lawn. We paid our property taxes so that we can keep our house. Instead of exposing our business to people who not gonna help pay our mortgage, to people who not gonna help pay our property taxes, to people who don't care if our house is dirty. See, people will stand on the sidewalk and watch your house burn down. They ain't trying to help put it out. That's why you treat your relationship like a house. But see, both people got to be willing to do the cleaning. It can't be one person cleaning and another person on the couch with their feet kicked up. This metaphorical now, this not literal. I realize I got to state everything. Sometimes I assume that people know, but it's always somebody that don't get it. And it ain't nothing wrong with that. But y'all who get it, forgive me for going above and beyond in my explanation. A lady came on the comment the other day and tried to make an issue out of me saying that when me and my wife were sleeping together, I knew exactly what I was doing. But she was naive and gullible to where, yes, scientifically she knew that if you have unprotected sex, you're going to get pregnant. But she did not know within her body that it was going to happen right then. But she also did not fully understand the power of her voice and her no. So while she could say no to certain things, it was assumed in relationships that if you're in a relationship, you're having sex. And that if you have not been sexually trained and told that when you have sex, you must use a condom. Some people who are worldly and who were exposed to a whole lot, they cannot fathom that that is not common sense to somebody else who was sheltered. But see, that is because we don't seek to understand. We say, how in the world did you not know that? That's an excuse. No, everybody has a different walk. So the lady tried to come and make an issue. Are you saying that your wife did not know that if she was having unprotected sex, she would get pregnant? Not seeking to understand. And then so another lady, she came in the comments and she said, Tony, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because I got pregnant at 19. And I was so naive. I was so gullible. See, because my wife got pregnant at 19. So because this lady got pregnant at 19, she understands exactly how you could be doing something and not weighing the consequences. But the other lady who want to take a queen and make her look like a peasant, make her look dumb, she want to take an angle of ignorance, like she don't understand what's being said, like she don't understand what's being explained. Do you think the young men that's dying in the streets have really calculated and counted the cost? No. They're young, so they feel invincible. So they feel that they could pull a trigger, take somebody's life, and they have not felt the consequences. They seen it happen to other people. But the way the human mind works is we always feel like we could be the exception to the rule. And all we need to see is one person who done wrong and did not pay the most grave price, and we say, oh, well, that could be me too. It's willful ignorance, blissful ignorance. That's why they say ignorance is bliss. And what I say is ignorance is bliss until the consequences hit. That's when it's no longer blissful. So see, we have to get to the place where we operating from a place of love, from a place of understanding, from a place of compassion, and understand that love still chastises. The Bible says God chastises those he loves. So love don't mean not speaking out against evil. Love don't mean not correcting a wrong behavior or a narrative that is destroying people or misleading people. That's not what love means. Love means is you come from a place of love instead of a place of hate or jealousy or vitriol. And when you get to that place in your life going to be changed for the better. And you're going to have peace and you're going to have freedom. Because you're going to realize that sometimes there's more peace in being quiet than there is in saying something that is not going to move the needle. Silence is a response too. Support and meeting somebody where they are is more helpful than just criticizing and ridiculing and demeaning them as if we are perfect. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. Put an hour in. I done went up 2 notches on this here incline. I'm feeling the day, but I'm finna lift me some weights after this. I got to get my life together. God bless you. We'll talk soon.